My name is Emma Carter, who had a carry the mail. My car is.
I found the mayor's daughter floating in the lake at midnight, and somehow the police say I'm the one who killed her. But the real killer made one small mistake, and it exposed a secret this town was never meant to know. The first time I saw the body, it was already floating, face down, hair spreading through the dark water like black ink. The lake was so still it looked like glass, and for a moment I thought I was hallucinating. Then the hand moved. Not alive, just drifting with the slow ripple. My breath caught in my throat. I should have called the police immediately. Instead, I stepped closer. That was the first mistake that almost destroyed my life. My name is Emily Carter, and I've lived in the small town of Ridgewood my entire life. Ridgewood is the kind of place where people still leave their doors unlocked, and everyone knows the color of your curtains. Nothing ever happens here. At least, that's what we believed, until the night the lake went silent. I had gone there to clear my head. My life had been falling apart for months. My bookstore downtown was barely surviving, bills were stacking up, and my fiancé had left 2 weeks earlier without a real explanation. So I did what I always did when things felt heavy. I drove to Willow Lake. The air smelled like wet pine and cold water. A thin fog hovered over the surface, swallowing the moonlight. It felt peaceful, almost too peaceful. And then I saw the body. My heart slammed against my ribs as I knelt by the dock. Slowly, carefully, I leaned forward and grabbed the wooden post to steady myself. The body rolled slightly. The face surfaced, and I recognized her. Sarah Whitmore, the mayor's daughter. I stumbled backward, nearly falling into the lake. Sarah wasn't just anyone in Ridgewood. She was the golden girl, volunteer, school teacher, the kind of person everyone trusted. And now, she was dead. I pulled my phone out with shaking hands and called 911. Within 20 minutes, the lake was filled with flashing red and blue lights. That's when my nightmare began. Detective Mark Dalton was the first to question me. He stood beside the police car, arms crossed, studying me with sharp gray eyes. "You were the one who found her." "Yes." "What were you doing out here alone at midnight?" "I come here sometimes to think." His eyebrow lifted slightly. "And you didn't see anyone else?" "No." He looked toward the lake, where officers were pulling Sarah's body from the water. Then he said something that made my stomach drop. "Emily, witnesses say they saw your car here earlier tonight." My mind froze. "What? That's impossible." "Are you sure about that?" "I just got here." But Dalton didn't look convinced. And that's when the whispers started. Ridgewood spreads rumors faster than wildfire. By morning, half the town believed I had something to do with Sarah's death. Someone said we argued last week. Someone else said my business was failing. Another person claimed Sarah had been seen entering my bookstore that afternoon. Suddenly, every coincidence became evidence. The police searched my car, then my house, then my store. And 2 days later, they found Sarah's necklace in my office drawer. I stared at it like it was a snake. "I've never seen that before." Detective Dalton watched my face carefully. "It was hidden under your paperwork." "That's a serious accusation." "Because it's true." But my voice sounded desperate, and desperate people look guilty. Within hours, the town turned against me. People avoided my bookstore. Neighbors stopped waving. Someone even spray-painted "murderer" on my window. I felt like I was drowning in slow motion. But something didn't make sense. If someone framed me, they made a mistake, a small one, and it saved my life. 3 nights after the murder, I sat alone in the bookstore going through security footage. The police had already checked it, but they focused only on the night Sarah died. I looked earlier, hours earlier. At 4:12 p.m., Sarah entered the store. She looked nervous. She walked straight to the counter and leaned toward the camera. Then she slipped a folded piece of paper under the register and left. My heart pounded as I pulled the drawer open. Behind the receipt rolls was the note. My hands shook as I unfolded it. 3 words: He knows everything. No name, no explanation, but on the back, there was a phone number. I didn't call the police, not yet. Instead, I called the number myself. It rang once, twice, then a voice answered, calm, familiar. Hello? My blood turned cold. Detective Dalton? There was a long silence. Then he spoke again, slower this time. Yes, Emily. And suddenly everything made sense. Dalton had been the one investigating Sarah, but Sarah had discovered something about him, something big enough to get her killed. My mind raced as I tried to keep my voice steady. Sarah left your number in my store. Another pause, then a quiet chuckle. Well, that's unfortunate. The line went dead. At that exact moment, I heard the bookstore door open behind me. I turned slowly. Detective Mark Dalton stood there, gun in hand. The street lights outside cast long shadows across the floor. You should have let the police handle it, he said calmly. You framed me. I needed someone believable. My heart hammered. Why Sarah? She found records she wasn't supposed to see. What records? Money, evidence rooms, confiscated cash that never made it to the books. My chest tightened. You killed her? Dalton sighed like he was tired. She forced my hand. And now you're going to kill me too? Unfortunately, yes. But Dalton made the same mistake every arrogant killer makes. He talked too much. Because while he was explaining everything, my phone was still recording, hidden in my pocket, and the emergency call I placed earlier was still connected. Outside, sirens began to rise in the distance. Dalton's expression changed instantly. You... I ran. He fired once. The bullet shattered the bookstore window behind me as I dove to the floor. Seconds later, the door burst open. Police flooded the room. Drop the weapon. Dalton hesitated. That was enough. They tackled him to the ground. 3 months later, Ridgewood slowly returned to normal. Dalton confessed to everything: the stolen money, the murder, the frame job. Sarah Whitmore was finally buried with justice, and the word murderer was washed from my window. But sometimes, late at night, I still drive to Willow Lake. The water is quiet again, still, peaceful. But now, I know the truth about small towns. The silence isn't safety. Sometimes, it's just where secrets are buried. Thanks for watching.